Hello, my lovelies. My name is Mickey Dragon, and welcome back to my little thunder. I hope you've had a good day. Today, I wanted to do a highlights of the past couple years. That way, when I do this again, it'll just be a month, so it'll be easier. So, I was one of the first graduates in the start of the pandemic in 2020, and while that wasn't hard enough, I had to move my senior year to a completely different state in a different high school. And in that time, while it sucked, I was really grateful for the friends I was able to make in that short time and the few dates that I went on. Other than the people aspect, I loved that I was able to have choir and theater as a constant to keep me sane. I was very thankful for the opportunities I had to do the productions I did, which was Disaster, Hunchback of Notre Dame, and Wait Until Dark. And they were really fun to do. Besides that, before the pandemic hit, so it was January, I went to my final all-state/honor choir event, and I was a soloist. And that was a really cool opportunity that I am incredibly grateful for. There were a few positives in the sea of negatives, and I will forever be grateful for that. In the midst of quarantine, I found Unisonus, and it kept me sane, and then my parents decided that they were not sane and bought a puppy in the middle of a pandemic, and his name was Atlas, and he was my little buddy. He brought so much joy into my life, and I'm very grateful for Atlas. Had a mental breakdown, and I was grateful for hair dye. Yeah, dyed my hair dark brown. It was great. It was a wonderful moment. And then I graduated. Yay! Which we honestly didn't think was going to happen for a while because the school messed up my transcripts. So it was really hit or miss if I was going to graduate because they didn't do simple math and they couldn't transfer my credits. And then my friends and I, after graduating, thought we should spray paint a rival school rock. Not only one, we spray painted all of our district school rocks, which was 6. And they're not small rocks. They're like boulders. So it was a feat. And then later in the year 2020, about August, September, I was the maid of honor for my best friend, Jade. And then 2 weeks later, I was a part of another wedding. And I was a bridesmaid for that. And I loved being able to see my friend's special day. And then after that, I had my first date after high school, which, honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't think that I was going to date or go on dates with anybody after high school because I thought bad things about myself, which we're working on. But the reason I put that I was grateful for that date after high school was it was the best date I've ever been on. It was so fun. He was a gentleman the entire time, which who would have thought a straight man is a gentleman in these times? I'm sorry. Men, I love you. I'm sorry. But it's true. Then a little while later, my best friend Kaya visited. And I showed her around my podunk town in Idaho where I was living, and I think she hated it. Which I don't blame them. There isn't much to do in that little town or the towns next to. I don't blame them at all. Then I started my first semester at college. And then I flunked out of that semester. If you want to know why, I'll make another video on it. Give me a comment saying you want to know that story, because we're not going to put that in the grateful one. While I was at college, I was a part of the Princess Tea Party at a local theater, and I was stage crew, and it was so cute to see all of those little kids just interact with all of the princesses. It was so freaking adorable. Because of the pandemic, picking up our yearbooks didn't happen until the beginning of the next school year. So I had my mask on, I drove up to the school, and I went in and gave them my name, and I picked up my yearbook, and I got stopped by my government teacher and the principal. And they asked me if I could, come into the office, and I'm like, I don't go to school anymore. I didn't do anything to get in trouble. But why are you asking me to go in your office? Anyway, I'm like, yeah, sure. And so I go into the office, and they asked if I saw their comments on my government final, which aced that sucker. And I said no, nothing had loaded. And so the principal and my government teacher exchange looks, and they get really teary-eyed, which my government teacher was the wrestling coach. He's this really big, tall kind of guy. And my principal was this big Samoan guy. So I just see these men start tearing up. And they start telling me how impactful my final essay was for government when I gave them my, I don't know if I can say this word, but my rape story. I talked about the government systems and how it relates to that incident, and they were sobbing by the time they were done talking to me. And they asked if they could give me a hug, and I'm like, yeah, sure, go for it. And both of them gave me at least a 2-minute hug. And it never occurred to me how much impact one little story could have for other people. So that was really eye-opening. Then I went home and I sobbed because I made men cry. We've entered 2021, and my parents and my siblings have left me with my grandparents in Idaho as they moved down to a different state. They left the dog with me, so Atlas and we were buddies all of 2021. He was the only friend I could really talk to, because the rest of my friends were either in college, on church missions, or married. So, I had no friends, and so I decided that I would download Discord, and I would download Twitter. I'm really grateful for them, because they connected me with the best friends that I have now, and they provided a lot of opportunities that I wasn't gonna get otherwise. So I'm very grateful for them. I'm also grateful for the fact that I got into like tarot cards and tarot readings and witchcraft, but not really witchcraft. Witchy business. Witchy business. And they just brought a lot of like insight into my life. And then in 2021 was when I really started like gaming with people, because before I was only playing Stardew Valley and I was having a great time. But as soon as I got Twitter, I found these people and they were like, hey, you should come join our gaming server. And I'm like, cool! And so I made friends and started gaming and learned how much I loved it. Before the pandemic hit, my career goal was I wanted to be on Broadway, either acting or producing or directing, anything really. Broadway was, and still kind of is, my dream goal. So when the pandemic hit, I really had to reevaluate what I wanted to do with my life, because I've always wanted to make a difference in people. And through middle school and high school, I saw how much I affected people's lives by portraying this story and this character. While I was on Twitter and Discord and I was meeting different people and I wasn't confined to my room, mentally at least, I learned that I'm bisexual, and that really scared me because I was raised and lived in a very conservative, very religious family. And when I discovered I was bisexual, I didn't want anyone to know, because I wasn't ashamed. I was just more scared that I would lose all of the family that I had. And so I decided I wasn't going to tell my family, but everyone else that I met and would be friends with, I would tell I was bisexual. Later, the family found out, but that wasn't from my doing. So, but I'm grateful that I got to learn more about myself and be comfortable being bisexual. And yeah. So, little backstory on this next one. But my parents got divorced when I was in 3rd or 4th grade. And I didn't like my dad because I didn't know the full story, because I was like 10 and I just hated him. And so I never got to really know my half-sisters because of my hatred for my father. And so I was on call with him one time and I just had this feeling, and I was like, hey, would it be okay if I come visit you guys sometime to like get to know my little sisters and everything? And they were overjoyed. So the next month I traveled down and I was spending so much time with my siblings, and it was really cool. And in the meantime, I got to know my dad as Daniel and not my father. And I highly recommend that. It's meeting your parents as people. It really made me understand like what was going on in my childhood and everything else. But yeah, now my dad is my best friend. And I'm really grateful for him and everything he's done for me. I'm grateful for dating because I ended up getting a couple partners this year. We're not going to mention them. Because again, I never thought I was good enough in different facets for anybody to really like date me, get to know me, yada yada yada. All that insecure stuff. We don't like it. But even though it was short, all three of them were short, and we both had our problems. In each relationship, we both had our problems, and it wasn't perfect by any standards, and I'm still grateful for the opportunity that I got to be able to prove myself wrong and was able to date people. I was really grateful for that. And then we go forward a bit, and I found out that I was gonna be a godmother, and she's born, and she's beautiful, and I love her, and I can't wait to be able to make a trip to go meet her. Even though she's a little baby, I can't wait to meet my goddaughter. I'm genuinely excited because it's my best friend Jade, and it's her daughter, and I'm really excited. And then it was time to dye my hair again. Can you guess what color I did? Purple! And honestly, purple hair Mickey. She was a moment. I miss her. We love her. And during that time, I got fully vaccinated. And I'm grateful that I'm fully vaccinated. And another experience that I've had in 2021 was I went to my first concerts. And growing up, I wasn't really allowed to because we never had the money to, and other things that I can talk about later. But I finally went to my first concerts, and I learned that I love the feeling of listening to music live and like getting all of the emotions and all of that. It was insane. And then I got my first tattoo. Which I never thought I was gonna do. Growing up in the household I did. But I love it. It's in a good enough place that if I want to show it, I can show it. And if I want to hide it, I can hide it really easily. But I've got a couple more tattoos planned that I want to get at some point. And they're not going to be like as hidden. And I'm excited for them. And then, fast forward a couple months, and I was a part of Game Theory's, Matt Pat's, St. Jude livestream. The last one he will do in the YouTube original space. And it was a dream. I will make a separate video like talking about my experience there, but I was really grateful for that I was chosen to be a part of this live stream. I met a lot of YouTubers, and it was really cool. We're finally in 2022, and we are gonna speed run this because not a lot of stuff happened. But I became an app ambassador for the Gamers. They are a wonderful organization. I will put their links down in the description. I highly suggest that you download the app. It's a great community of women and non-binaries to like come together and game and have like a good like safe place to come. It's great. And then I had another mental breakdown. Can you guess what color I dyed my hair? It was green. And the first time I did it, it was fine. And it was good for a couple days. And then it washed out. And then I hated it. I hated the green hair so much. It was probably one of the lowest I've ever been in my life. Was green hair. And then in February, I got my baby Percy. And I am so incredibly grateful to have my puppy. Yeah, I'm talking about you. She turned 1 just a little bit ago. And so she's big. I got her from the local rescue, and they said she was 1, but she was 5 months old. But I love her so much, and she is my best friend. And then later, I dyed my hair black and purple, and I loved that. That hairstyle was great. I would definitely go back to that one. And I dyed my hair just in time to go to Ethan Nestor's I Have to Do This Tour show. And it was amazing. If you didn't go, you really missed out. And I hope later on he either, makes a video about it or, does a moment house where he, shows the whole production. But that show changed my life forever. Yeah, it was very musical, which I wasn't expecting, but I was very pleasant. I loved it. I love his singing voice, and there are some songs that I will never be able to get out of my head. Hopefully, if I can remember stuff from it, I'll make a video from it. And then I met my internet friend Simon, and he's amazing. I love him so much. Then I saw Five Sauce for the first time. If you don't know what Five Sauce is, it's 5 Seconds of Summer. And I got to see their show. And I've been wanting to see one of their shows since I found their music in 2012. And having it be a decade, it was a really cool moment for me. And then I dyed my hair black, and this is where we're going at the time being. We'll see what happens. But I dyed it black, and there's a little bit of orange, but not much I can do there. Now we're finally to August. Yeah! We're finally to August! So, some highlights from this month was Percy got into my makeup, and she's adorable. I was very angry, but it came out with an adorable picture, so I'm not too bad. I became obsessed with Eddie Munson and Joseph Quinn and Jamie Campbell and all of those beautiful, beautiful people and characters. Became obsessed with them. And then also this month, one of the highlights was Go My Favorite Sports Team and Distractable podcast. They are keeping me entertained in the moments where nothing is happening in my life. Because I grew up playing sports, and I love sports. But I also love comedy. And so I listen to Go My Favorite Sports Team, which is Tyler Scheid and Markiplier, Mark Fishmock. Amazing people. Go subscribe to them. And then Distractable, which is Mark, Bob, and Wade, is just pure comedy and chaos. And it's so good. There's other podcasts that I would love to listen to, but those two are my absolute favorites. And now, we're going to get into the section of what goals I want to make. So, one of the goals I have is I want to keep up on a schedule, which right now is going to be posting 2 times a week. I wanted it to be Tuesday and Thursday, but then this week got out of hand, so it's just going to be 2 days a week. And those days will vary from week to week to fit my purposes. each month I want to make sure I do a highlight reel from each month for like music I've listened to, shows I've watched, what I'm grateful for, just to like really like center myself. And yeah. I another goal I have is I want to try and romanticize my life and give minuscule things more meaning. Like, I want to make more skits because I have a lot of ideas and I have some characters planned, but I just need to make the skits. And hopefully soon I can get one of those out because I'm really excited to develop the stories of the characters that I have planned. But we'll see. Another thing that is just a lifetime goal is work on healing my inner child, which I think everyone needs to do. Because everyone, no matter if your life has been traumatic by definition or not, you've experienced trauma and your inner child is hurting. So I want to try and work on mine and heal her to a better place. And then my final goal for right now is I want to make more true friends. I will work my hardest to change that. Well, that was my first highlight slash what I'm grateful for thing. And since we're all caught up, these videos won't be as long. But thank you for watching. If you made it this far, give me a like and a subscribe. Comment down below what you're grateful for. I would really like to know, and I will like and reply to as many as I can. That being said, I hope you have a good day, a good night, wherever you are when you're watching this. I hope you're doing okay, and I hope you've eaten and hydrated, and I hope you know that you're needed and you're wanted and you are loved even if you don't feel like it. I promise you are, and you deserve good things. I love you all. Goodbye, my loves.